it that Pinterest seemed to buck the ad media spiral that we saw with Snap and Meta and others, Bill?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Emily. Always a pleasure. And I feel really great about how our team performed in Q3. I think, we're doing some things that are fundamentally different than the rest of social media. And I think you're seeing that start to cut through with advertisers and with users. We grew 10% year on year on a constant currency basis, really outpacing a decelerating market and growing faster than a lot of our peers, which means we're taking share. And I think part of that is that, number one, we're a positive platform. We're not a place where people go to shout about their politics or to present their seemingly perfect life that makes others feel negative. It's a place where people go to find inspiration. It's a place where people go with an intent and a purpose. And that's a very unique thing in the space, both for what the users get as well as what advertisers get. It's a full funnel ad solution in that advertisers can connect at the upper, mid, and lower funnel and really meet users at multiple points along their journey. And so the brand safe nature of the platform paired with the full funnel nature of it, user growth returning, these things are all starting to really cut through. And I think you see it demonstrated in our results.
Let's talk about what advertisers get, because obviously we're seeing a broader ad pullback. What is your outlook as we head into 2023, and how much of that Pinterest gains? Do you potentially gain ad market share or not as we head into a potentially pronounced long-term economic downturn?
Yeah, well, I think it's clear when you look at our performance relative to peers this past quarter that we've been gaining share. And we're a smaller player than many of the others, and so I think there's a lot more opportunity for us to pick up share. That said, we know we outran a decelerating ad market this past quarter, and the market looks to still be choppy, and so we're looking to make sure that we show up with really great value for our advertisers, and we're doing that through a number of dimensions. A couple of which I mentioned around really helping the advertisers meet the user throughout the full funnel. I think that's quite unique. When you compare us to other social media platforms, most of them have the user in sort of a lean back entertainment mode, where the user is there for some other purpose, whether it's to watch a funny dance video or to view pictures of their friends. People come on Pinterest looking for products. More than half of them are there to shop. And so they're there with an intent and a purpose. And the fact that we get users at the upper, mid, and lower stage of their journeys means that we're able to help the advertiser connect across those and really meet users at this sort of magic moment where they have an idea, a general idea of what they want, but they haven't decided what to buy yet. And so that's really cutting through. And then finally, I just say, every CMO out there has been approached by their CFO saying, okay, you've got to go drive performance. And sometimes that results in a bit of a Sophie's choice, where that means that they oftentimes rush to last click, but it means they're not getting to tell their brand story. And what Pinterest is delivering that we're finding really resonant with advertisers is the ability to tell their brand story in a performant way, because we do have the lower funnel aspect of that as well, and can connect across that user journey.
Let's talk a little bit about users, because obviously investors are excited about the reignition of growth here. We had Mark Mahaney, who covers Pinterest, on earlier in the show. He said, to be fair, expectations for Pinterest were low, though he is very optimistic about you coming in and bringing a new perspective on how to manage this company. What are you doing to attract Gen Z, and how, and what is the evidence that that is working?
Yeah, so we returned to user growth this quarter. We stabilized the user base, returned to user growth, and we're really doing that by leaning into the uniqueness of the platform. When you think about it as a positive place and a place where people go with intent and purpose, it really is unique across social media. It's also quite unique in that it's a place where people go to express their creativity. And so we're leveraging those things, leaning into them more, drawing the contrast from the rest of social media, and really leveraging the unique human curation that happens on our platform to drive better and more personalized experiences for our users. To give you a tangible example of that, you can go lots of places to find a great new dress. But if you think about how to put together a great outfit and what handbag and shoes and accessories might go really well with that dress, yes, we're doing a lot with machine learning, as many others are, but machine learning is only as good as the signal that it's acting upon. And we have hundreds of millions of pinners that come to our platform and curate boards that tell us what kind of accessories might go well with that dress. So when you get recommendations here, it's not just from really great machine learning, it's really great machine learning acting upon signals from hundreds of millions of pinners that are telling us what things go well together, whether it's putting together an outfit or putting together a room or thinking about how to put together really great holiday plans for what a great meal might be. All these things, we have great human curation that happens on the platform at scale that is just completely unique across the space. I don't think you really see that happening anyplace else. And when we pair that with great machine learning, great advertising capabilities, it's really cutting through to drive user growth and revenue growth.
Now, you've made the point that Pinterest you see as being very different from other social media platforms. I'm so curious what you think about what's happening at Twitter. You know, it's unclear what the business model is even going to be, unclear whether advertisers are going to stick around. Is Twitter under Elon Musk possibly an opportunity for Pinterest to take some of those ad dollars or even to take some of that mind share, or is it a totally different proposition?
Well, I mean, I can't comment on any one specific player, but I would say that when you compare Pinterest to social media more broadly, first, I'd say, we're at this really unique intersection between social, search, and commerce, which is totally different than other platforms. I think when you add on to that the positive nature of our platform, which we tune for intentionally, and we hear from users that it's a place that they feel uplifted, they feel inspired, whereas oftentimes on other platforms, they're seeing people shout about their politics or generally activity that can leave them feeling anxious or depressed or these kinds of things, and they feel lifted up on our platform. And so we're leaning into that. And as we do that, it makes it a brand safe space for advertisers. And so that's something that advertisers have understood about Pinterest for some time. We're leaning more and more into that, and we're seeing it cut through more and more versus the rest of social media.
How has your Google Commerce background come into play thus far? And have you had any sort of light bulb moments about how to make that connection from something you see on Pinterest to something that you buy much more concrete?
Well, Emily, this is a great question because while Pinterest is a full funnel platform, it has historically been stronger in the upper and mid funnel where people would find a lot of things they found interesting on Pinterest, but then they'd have to go somewhere else to go act upon that. And part of what we're doing is making sure that as people find things on Pinterest, that we're leaning into that intent to action, making things much more actionable. So I talked about on our earnings call, we want to make it so that every image of every product that you encounter on Pinterest becomes shoppable. Whether you find that in a scene or in user-generated content, when you see a great product, even if it's some celebrity that's wearing it, and you say, "Oh, I want that product," or "I want that same look," that we're making that more and more shoppable for people. And as we do that, connecting that intent to action strengthens the lower funnel part of our business. And we think there's a lot more opportunity to go there. I think it's historically, again, been a place where the platform wasn't as strong, and we're making that much stronger over time. And there's good progress already. I talked about shopping ads being up 50% year on year, conversions up 20%. So really good progress there, but a lot more to do there. And as we do it, that'll be better and better engagement for users and also really great advertising opportunities for our partners.
Now, your collage making app Shuffles has seen really good traction, I know, especially in the United States, helping with engagement and active users. What's the longer term vision there, and how can you integrate sort of what you're learning from Shuffles into the broader experience?
Yeah, so great question, Emily. Shuffles, we've been quite excited by the progress with Shuffles there, our collage making app that has just really resonated with Gen Z. And I think it's indicative of how there are a number of adjacent use cases that we can explore with Pinterest. They really lean into the unique nature of our platform, where we do have people in that lean forward mode, looking to express their creativity. So I think we have license to bring those kinds of experiences to users. Shuffles is one example of that. And I'd also say it's just one example of how we're cutting through with Gen Z. Even separate from Shuffles, our Gen Z user base has more than doubled since Q3 of 2019. And for this quarter, it was our fastest growing demographic. So Pinterest is cutting through with Gen Z users. And I think for a lot of the reasons that I shared already, that it is a positive place. It's a bit of an oasis in the world of social media for users, where it's a smaller circle. It's a place where they can collaborate with closer friends versus having to worry about being shouted down or these kinds of things. It's just felt as a safer and more inspiring space by many users. And so that's really resonating with Gen Z. And as we give them more and more tools like Shuffles, we think there's a lot more we can do to serve that as a great up-and-coming demographic.
So speaking of, what's been your inspiration? What have all of these learnings and things that you've seen led to new, product ideas and other innovations that you might be thinking about?
Well, I think generally I'd say, I'm inspired by the team that's here, the way they have executed. There's a lot more for us to do there, but we have a team that loves Pinterest, that is really intent on building something very different than the rest of social media. And it's something that, Ben and I talked about a lot before I joined. It's something that he believed deeply, is a big part of why I joined. And upon coming into the company, it has been hugely inspirational to me to see how much our team really cares about building Pinterest as a positive place that's very different from what you see in the rest of social media. And I think there's just a ton more to do there. Again, it's a big part of why I joined. Yes, we're going to make sure we build more intent to action, more shoppability, all these things. But building a positive place online that gives users a real alternative to the vitriol and toxicity that has become, all too frequently the norm for a lot of social media, I think is something that I find massively inspiring, and our team does as well.